mobile and the internet is no longer lost on marketeers, but all digital marketing strategies simply won't do. In this session, our keynote speaker will share on how your brand can take a fresh approach to cut through the clutter and catch the eye of your customers. Please join me in welcoming Vasuta Agarwal. Vasuta is the Chief Business Officer, Consumer Platform Advertising at InMobi, responsible for leading ad monetization for all consumer properties of InMobi Group globally. She has been featured in the Economic Times 40 Under 40 list for 2021, Campaign Asia 40 Under 40 class of 2021, Campaign Asia Women to Watch 2020 list among the top 50 influential women in media and marketing in India for three successive years since 2018, and in the Economic Times Women Ahead list for 2018. Please put your hands together and join me in welcoming Vasuta Agarwal on the stage. Thank you.
Great, we'll get started. I think since this is the session between everyone here and lunch, we'll make it a quick one. So, today's theme is about, rebuilding, relearning, and rethinking marketing. We thought it'll be interesting to talk about, how content discovery in this world, in this reimagined world, is extremely important, and how it's key to building brand love when it comes to consumers. So if you look at content discovery today, and I think in many sessions earlier today, we talked about how we live in an extremely cluttered environment when it comes to content. Content discovery is not easy. We have thousands of hours of content on the internet today, and every minute there is tons of content getting uploaded on the internet. And so what does it mean today as a consumer or even a marketeer when it comes to consuming content or relevant content on the internet? The journey starts with not just one simple click. We are spending 5 hours a day, almost 5 hours a day on our mobile phones in trying to find that content, because as humans, we want to stay informed, we want to get entertained, we want to explore ideas. And all of this does not come easily on our mobile phones. So what does this journey of discovering content look like as consumers? And I'm sure many of you who are sitting in the audience on your mobile phones are doing exactly that as you go between sessions. It takes 8 clicks, and we counted this, and you can experience it firsthand. It takes 8 clicks to just watch a short video on the internet today. First, you unlock your phone. Then you scroll through multiple apps to find the right app. You end up finding the app that you wanted to go to. Then you fire open that app, and you're already on your 4th click by now. Then within that app, you start searching for the content that you want to view or look at. You again scroll to find the one that you want to watch. And then you finally play that, if it's a short video, you play that video. And just before you're able to watch the content, you have to again click to skip the ad, right? So you're already at 8 clicks by now, and you've not managed to reach the content that you had come to watch in the first place. This journey of 8 clicks is not an easy one, and most of us are doing it on a daily basis as we try to find relevant, consumable content. This journey is not short. It is not an easy one. And after all this effort, we maybe spend, a second, maybe a few seconds to give attention to that content, because everyone knows that attention spans in the current, consumer ecosystem is very, very hard to find. So what if, this journey could become much simpler? What it could be much easier and shorter? What if, we could completely reinvent and reimagine the way content is discovered today? And that's where, our sort of, thought comes in, that what if it doesn't need to be an app if you want to discover content? What if it is, some place where you spend a lot of time today? And what is that one place on your devices that you spend a lot of time? Any guesses? Which place on your phones do you spend the most time today in the audience? Yeah, I think someone said it, your phone's lock screen, right? That's where you spend the maximum time when it comes to your device today. Almost 50 times a day on average, going to about 70, 75 times a day. And this consumption of your lock screen, what does it typically look like? What does an average or a typical lock screen look like? I mean, what are people usually doing on their lock screens when, I mean, sometimes you don't even know if you reach out for the phone and you just pick up your phone. I mean, check the date, I don't know, check the time, sometimes check the weather, check notifications, dismiss notifications if there's too many of them. Sometimes even, if you're lucky, turn on the camera without, unlocking your phone in one go. So that's typically the experience of, an average lock screen that we have today. And on an average, it's used 50 times a day. So what if, that lock screen experience could change, right? From a typical passive lock screen, which is just meant for notifications and basic information, what if it could convert to a smart lock screen, right? And let you do much more, right? Let you, for example, know things before anyone else has access to them at the moment that they happened. What if you could discover content that is of interest to you and is just shown for you in a very personalized way? What if you could even shop and just quickly find the product that you like? Or you could even watch and play games. There's a lot of people into gaming now, and gaming is booming. So what if you could just discover, watch, and just play a game? All of these experiences just on your lock screen without even having to go through that entire 8-click journey of finding content. So that is something that we've tried to create. It is not an app. You don't need to go through that 8-click journey. It is a place where the content comes to you. Instead of trying to go find the right content in the right app, it's a place where the right content comes to you on your smart lock screen. And we'll just quickly, in 2 minutes, also show it live to you as we go through that. So you see this is, our smart lock screen, and you've not yet unlocked the phone. And you click on, just watch now, this is a content piece, or you could, again, try to unlock your phone, and, there's a watch that is relevant. So different kinds of cards that are coming in. If you once click on it, you go to, the shop destination, and you can actually purchase the product if it's something that's interesting. If you go into gaming, if you are someone who's looking to pass the time, you're commuting, you can watch games, you can experience live tournaments, you can participate in live tournaments. Similarly, something watch, for example, there where it's live entertainment. It could be any interesting kind of celebrity shows, it could be contests, it could be DJs, anything at all, right? Very interesting, different content. Then you have T20, which was specifically created for catching sporting action, just looking at the scores during the day of a match, any match. This is all cricket right now, but it could be any kind of sporting event where you can catch the action. And finally, a U tab, which also allows you to be very, very sort of user-first about it, where you can select the content that you prefer, which content do you want, language do you want to see the content in, select categories that are of interest to you so that you can opt in and say, okay, this is information that interests me, and so that the content can be personalized and sent to you, and also obviously then predict what kind of content you would like. So that's the experience, and this is all happening on the lock screen without you trying to unlock your phone at all. And that's what we're aspiring for, right? That how do you create an experience where the content comes to you on your smart lock screen? And today already, the smart lock screen is where almost 200 million users, Android smartphone users are spending almost 25 minutes a day consuming all the different genres of content that we talked about. And this covers 80% of the Android smartphones in the country across Samsung and Vivo and Oppo and Realme and Xiaomi, all the big Android manufacturers. And this is where, if you look at some of the stats from the last year, this is where, in terms of engagement, the news, if you look at news as a genre, we got this is just some metrics around likes and shares. On news stories, this is where, when you look at gaming, right, live tournaments has really picked up, and almost 2.7 million gamers participated in just one live tournament. That is almost or more than twice of what PlayStation's seen in its most viewed stream. Similarly, if you look at sports as a genre, almost 100 million people consumed sports content, of which 42% were just expert analysis of different cricket matches through all of last year. And then, of course, around live entertainment, almost 66 million people in total over the last year consuming content over the weekends, just tuning into live content. It could be music, it could be live shows, it could be any form of, live entertainment. So very different categories of content getting consumed on the lock screen already. Now, if we switch gears in the last, just a couple of minutes, as a marketeer, so this was all, what consumers are doing and why the smart lock screen is making sense to them, because they don't have to go through this very cumbersome, long process of clicking, finding app, finding content, because the content is coming to them on their lock screen. But as a storyteller, as a brand storyteller, or as a marketeer, how can you drive better experiences for your consumers using this entire seamless content discovery? There's quite a few, ways of doing that, to drive this seamless, zero-friction discovery, to drive this one-click sort of experience that we talked about, which was more consumer-driven, but also how you bring it into your brand storytelling. We'll talk of just quickly a few examples of that. The first one is, this is from Upgrad, which is, everyone knows, is a large edtech company, where they brought in the element of data science into cricket and created something called Data Scientist, which then they used a very popular stand-up comedian, cricket analyst, to actually bring this show as an educational content series for their users, and in conjunction also help promote the brand, right? So very interesting use case of bringing content in a storytelling way from an edtech brand. Another was, of course, everyone knows Swiggy. So again, they used the lock screen to bring in extremely hyper-local, sort of cuisines, because they used, obviously, the element of location, but also time of day to personalize the kind of content that was surfaced on the lock screen at dinner time versus breakfast versus lunch, so that when the user is picking up their phone, what they see is very, very relevant, for their location, for their time of day. And because it's on the lock screen, it is, extremely easy for them to then drive a seamless one-click experience to discover the right, product, to discover the right restaurant, and then help drive, orders and installs and so on for Swiggy. Similarly, looking at a very different experience with Sprite, which actually again went and created the concept of Sprite Cricket Premier League last year, where they offered this virtual cricket tournament to their users on the lock screen. And very simple, one-click gaming experience for users to engage with the brand, to engage with the products of the brand in the environment of, the gaming environment that you saw earlier on the lock screen. And again, a very, very interesting way for them to bring reach, bring, the right content experience for their user. Meesho, another, example, very different category, where they actually used the lock screen for their, Maha Savings Sale. And again, what they were able to do is that they were able to surface relevant products, relevant categories, relevant offers during the sale period on the lock screen for the users, and drive that entire, again, things like app installs, adding products to their cart, and end transactions as well. And then, lastly, again, another example of Pizza Hut, which again used Glance to bring very, very interesting kind of, offers and products on the lock screen. So the idea was that, if you see these 4 or 5 brands, they're all from very different categories: e-commerce, CPG, beverages, right? But they have all used unique storytelling experiences to bring seamless content discovery onto the lock screen, and then be able to, truly drive the, the KPIs or, the call to action that they were looking for through a one-click experience. Some of them have used gaming, some of them have used, the shopping experience, but different content experiences to bring that entire thing to the lock screen. So I think in summary, whether you're looking to do product launches, whether it's about big sales, whether it's your consumers getting to just know the brand awareness, brand consideration, or even further down the funnel, whether it's them getting to even love your brand and actually making purchases. It's ultimately about driving seamless content discovery and seamless experiences for your consumers, and it can all start with a glance. Thank you, everyone. It was good being here.